Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In today's video, we're going to be continuing on with our What's in the Box series. What is in this box? It's actually a blister. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at these Flames of War miniatures. This is a Grille, which is a 150 millimeter gun, right? It's a self-propelled gun, SPG. It is close support, big, huge monster of a gun. And this Grille is the late war version. There is there is an earlier war version of the Grille. Its hull and everything looks a lot different than this. It almost looks like a bison, with the gun is like more to the front, and it doesn't have this kind of looks like a Martyr, right, with a 150 instead of the 76. So if you were to push this gun forward, that would be the early war Grille, I do believe. I'll put some pictures up so you can see the difference between the two. But this is the late war Grille. You get two of them in this package. And if you don't know what a Flames of War miniature is, it's basically a 15 millimeter or a 1/100 scale miniature for a game called Flames of War by the company Battlefront. And it's a World War II miniature game, and from what I can tell, it's a really good game. The miniatures are top-notch, 100%, but I don't play Flames of War. I have a few issues with Flames of War, specifically weapon ranges. That's really the only issue I have, and I can adjust that. But I play a game called Battle Group because it takes the battle into a different direction. It's not like checkers, it's more like chess. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at these miniatures. I definitely personally use a lot of Flames of War miniatures in my battle group games. All right, let's open this up. Okay, after getting the staple out, which was a little tricky, let's go ahead and open this clamshell blister and let's see what we get in here. Looks like a couple of resin models. Okay, we got a bag of some metal tracks and guns and maybe a couple of crew members. We get some foam, and then we got a couple of holes pressed in really hard on this foam. There we go. Okay, so we get our grills. Okay, the first thing I noticed is this is an old resin model. It's beautiful. It doesn't look like it has any flash or any work that needs to be done to the models. But the tracks have like a little box here that is cut out of the side of the hull. In a lot of the newer plastic ones, what they do is like 2 on one side and like 1 on the other side. Where in this case, it looks like there's a cutout on both sides, but one is closer to the front and one is closer to the back. But I can see that if you didn't know what you were doing, you could put the tracks on backwards or upside down or crooked. So pay attention maybe to what I tell you here or the photographs. Okay, this is white metal. I can see, without even opening this bag, I can see the mold release on this metal. So you're going to definitely want to use some soap and water and wash that mold release off so that glue and paint will adhere to it. Okay, so one of these tracks, one of the wheels in the tracks has sprockets, right? It's what drives the chain of the track, and you have the same on both sides. Those should be in the front, right? The drive sprocket wheel, the tractor wheel, should be in the front. That's where your transmission is going to be. If you can't really see, like on these two, you can't really see the sprockets, just know that it's the large wheel. When it rests, the big wheel is in the front. The tiny guide wheel is all the way in the back, right? Okay. All right. So, and then you got these two like mid-length barrel 150s or 15 centimeters. You had a couple of machine guns that look like the half-track machine gun mounts. I didn't know there was any machine guns on these, but you would pretty much mount them on the back, as far as I can tell. There is no picture with the half-track, with the machine guns, so I'd have to look in a history book. On the side, on this side, there is like a little hole, and I bet you the machine gun mounts there. So it's like halfway on the left side. You get 4 crew. Those two are identical, and these two are identical. Okay, so you get a guy maybe with a soft cap, and then you get a guy with a helmet. The guy with the helmet is holding around like he's getting ready to load it. The other guy's just standing there with his hands up. Let me see here. Doesn't look like binoculars or something. He's just got his hand resting on something. Maybe the gun, maybe the wall of the grill. And then there's these 2 plates. Right? There's these 2 metal plates. Okay, it looks like it goes underneath the gun. And it looks flexible, like, let me see if I can use my hands to explain. Like if this was the gun sticking out from the front of your vehicle and this plate was underneath, if you lower the gun, the plate would kind of level out. But when you raise the gun, this plate would follow it up. So the crew would always have some kind of protection on the inside. That's what it looks like from this miniature here. I'll have to do a little research on that before assembling it. Yep, the 2 resin models are exactly the same. You got like spare track link on this side. Looks like a box of something on this side. A breaker bar on this side. Looks like an exhaust on the back, with like a footstool on top of the exhaust so you could step over it without burning your boots. Burning your boots. Now on the top of the tracks themselves, I can see a shovel on this one. And the top of the track on this one, wait, those are the same. Okay, the top of this track just basically has a box. Looks like some exposed tracks in the back. Well, they're not technically exposed because they go right up underneath the hull. Okay, this has exposed too, so it's right up underneath the hull. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and zoom in and take a look, and we'll show you the details of some of these models, some of these pieces. All right, so let's take a look at the resin hull first. The little track links right there. Little retaining brackets folded down. There's a lot of detail. It might be a little hard to see because it's so shiny. But once you prime it and then apply your washes and stuff, it'll be good. And there's maybe, what is that? A radio maybe on the side inside. What's on this side? You'd think it would be shells. Oh yeah. Those are big shells. There's not many of them. Okay. And then the tracks, I'm only going to show you one of each. You got this track on this side, this being the front, and you can see it's got a few tools. The tracks droop. Looks like there might be one guide wheel, one upper bogie right there, and so that's why it's got a double droop. It droops to that point and then droops to the back. It does not ride on top of these bogie wheels, not like the Russians. This is the other side. You can see that there is some flash. Needs to be cut off and trimmed, and maybe some mold lines need to be corrected. And this definitely has to be washed. I can feel the mold release coming off on my fingers. And it has a double droop as well. Okay. Now this machine gun's got a little extra flash, so it's something I can grab onto. But there's the machine gun and its bracket, and there's a lot of flash that would need to be cut off. Two of those. Here's the gun. Right, so that's the back side of the gun, and it looks like the pivot acts the axle there, and then you've got the front part of the gun, you know, bang 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 bang, and then there's a metal piece that I think is the gun shield that's flexible, that goes up and down. But you're not really going to get a good view of it. It's a kind of a small piece. It's just a flat square. It's kind of a bowl shape square, actually. It's a, yeah. And then here's one of the crew that's loading a shell. And then there's a crew with a soft cap, basically just sitting with his hands on, one of his hands on something. Not really sure. And that's it. You got the hull, the tracks, the gun, machine gun, and the plate. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and taking a look at the late war Grille. What do they call this? Platoon, and there's two of them. Now, you'll notice I did not get a card. There was no card in this. Just the two guns. No assembly guide. So I would go to flameswar.com and pull this item up and then go to the spotlight. There's usually like an assembly guide there. And I plan to do that. All right, well, thanks for coming out and watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in purchasing figures similar to this, you should go check out my eBay store. And then if you want something like this painted for you, I do commission work, so you should send me an email and I will quote you a price. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one.